On this episode of The State of Happiness, Anna Gomez and I are in France, talking about everything we've learned during the Summer of Love and all of our guests from July. We're also going to be talking about mood and money and startling facts about Americans and their relationship to money and how that can change. Stay tuned. Welcome to The State of Happiness. I'm your host, Leslie Juvin-Acker, Chief Happiness Officer at Leslie Inc., where we provide solutions for finding happiness for stressed, anxious, and overwhelmed senior-level managers, executives, and entrepreneurs. The State of Happiness podcast offers you conversation, inspiration, and ideas for helping you increase your happiness in the areas of your personal relationships, your career, your abundance, and your emotional well-being. So come along with us on this episode, and we'll help you get the tools, resources, and inspiration you need to help you find your own state of happiness. It's 2:00 in the morning. You can't sleep. Your mind is racing, thinking about work, your career, and your future. How can I get a raise? Why is my boss being so difficult? What am I doing wrong? What's keeping you up at night? If you had the answers to these questions, what choices would you make? Thanks to Leslie Inc.'s Happiness Decks app, Career Edition, you can have the answers to these questions. In less than 60 seconds, you can gain essential perspective and insight to the questions that are keeping you up at night. Download it today. Leslie Inc.'s Happiness Decks app, available in the Apple Store and Google Play Store. Get the answers you need and feel good about tomorrow. Get exclusive news and invitations today at leslieinc.org/app. Get the answers you need with the Happiness Decks app by Leslie Inc. Hello, happy campers. Thanks for joining me and Anna today. Thanks for joining us, Anna.
Hi.
I'm so happy that we are enjoying August. We're enjoying being in France, and it's just so great to be on vacation. We're doing some work, but we're having a lot of fun, right?
Definitely.
Let's recap July, because I want to show appreciation for all of the wonderful guests that we've had in July, the Summer of Love, and all the things that we've done. We have some updates, some stories from our meeting with these different individuals, and then talk about mood and money. You ready?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Alrighty. So last month in July, we had a few people on the show. We had D'Angelo Gogo, but his stage name is D'Angelo Gogo. His real name is D'Angelo Bonilla. He is an amazing gay nightlife entertainer and a corporate event planner. And what he talked about was, being gay in the workplace and having pride, and how he actually helped the Pride Parade with one of his floats for Hotel Del, and his evening with Drag Me to the Del. And actually, you got some tickets to the show. How was that?
I did. It was awesome. Alyssa Edwards, I love you. D'Angelo Gogo. It was amazing. It was an amazing show, and I'm so glad and fortunate to have gone. Drag Me to the Del. It was great. Can't wait till next year.
I know, right? Those drag queens are hilarious.
They are.
Why do you love Alyssa Edwards so much?
She's just so true and honest to herself. She's just a great spirit, seriously.
She's a character.
Yeah, she is.
I've seen some videos that D'Angelo posted. I wasn't able to make it, but you got some tickets, which was so great. So D'Angelo, thank you. But I saw a video on D'Angelo's where Alyssa Edwards just had this montage of her going.
Yeah, she makes the funniest noises. Yes, she does. She's just so true. I mean, she just kind of just says what's out there, what's on her mind, and she has no shame. And it's just this confidence that exudes from her, of being true to who you are, That's what I love about it.
And I think it also rounds up our conversation about bringing pride to the workplace, about being true to yourself, authentic, and not feeling like you have anything to lose, right? So
For sure.
I think that was like a perfect recap, and the Pride Parade is always great as usual, and D'Angelo never disappoints in his production. So I'm just so grateful that we had him on the show and that you were able to go and have a good time. The next guest that we had earlier in July was Dr. Michelle Dexter.
Oh, yeah. Fascinating.
She is an amazing woman. And you know what? Since that show, I've actually had listeners tell me that they went to see her.
Oh.
And some having to make difficult decisions like getting a divorce. But at least these people are chasing their happiness and leaving unhappy relationships. And I have to say, even talking with Michelle was so great because she's helped me make sure I make my relationship with my husband Frank a priority, going on date nights and stuff. So I thank you for babysitting us.
Welcome.
for babysitting the kids last minute, like we're going on a date, our wild date to Barnes and Noble and Starbucks.
No, I mean, it's important. I mean, I think one big takeaway from listening to Michelle and getting to know her is that you have to love yourself. You have to give yourself some time to make that effort in connecting with a relationship with someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was inspired too.
You sure were.
I went on Bumble, the female version, I guess, of Tinder.
Oh, golly.
Pro woman. I thought I'd give it a chance, and I got lucky in love.
Oh my gosh.
So we'll see where that goes. But I was inspired and to kind of take a chance and satisfy that need of myself, because that is an important part.
Everybody needs romance.
Yeah, romance, relationships, companionship. It's important.
Closeness. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a different type of intimacy, romance. And I think everybody should have that in some level, whether or not you actually have sex. Emotional intimacy is important with someone that you love. No matter whether you're gay or straight or what was it? Somebody told us, we had a conversation.
Asexual?
One of our friends said that her sister came out as asexual. So
Yeah.
that was a very interesting conversation. Mm-hmm. But it's great. Make your sexual health a priority. And the takeaway, if you guys listened to the episode, was to drink lots of water.
Oh, yes. Stay hydrated.
Oh, my.
You'll discover why. Listen to the podcast.
That's so funny. Drink that water now. Everyone, I'll be seeing all the happy campers with their happy camper stickers and their big, huge bottle of water at work. And they'll be like, Leslie said to drink lots of water. So the other person that we had was an amazing guest. He's also a friend of Michelle Dexter's, was Dr. Ellen Bloom here in San Diego.
A true healer.
Wow.
Honestly.
I have to say, our family, our whole entire family has been going to see him. Even you, all of us together.
Yeah,
so
the whole summer since we met him, really.
Yeah.
It's been several weeks now.
Yeah, he's an amazing
I
guy.
went up to him before I came to France, so yeah.
I was sold, though, when you said that he healed you over the phone. I was like, let me talk to this person.
He took the pain away. I'm not kidding, you guys. I know it sounds crazy, it sounds hooky, but he asked permission to give me a simple demonstration. I said, sure. Working with Leslie, I've been more open to those kinds of experiences. So I said, sure, go for it. And it just so happened that morning I woke up horrible. I had this horrible cramp, and he healed. Like, not kidding. It was gone. I was like, oh my God, Leslie, you have to check this out.
I know. That's so crazy. And you know what the thing was is that I actually, after seeing him and just feeling so great, like my arm wasn't hurting or feeling numb, and this general aches and pains from physical, just the day-to-day living, right? And then it was so great, I begged him to teach me. And so I took his Triple Your Energy program, which he offers in the podcast. So if you're listening, you're interested, sign up. I took it myself, but he also taught me things he normally doesn't teach anyone, like healing at a distance, and how to do it myself on other people. So it was pretty amazing. And I have to say that these life skills of, correcting your own energy, they just enhance your personal well-being, because if you're not in pain and you're not worrying about it, then what else would you be doing?
Yeah.
Right? You can focus.
Yeah.
So that was pretty amazing, and I'm so glad we met him.
Yeah.
And if you're listening and you're living with any kind of chronic pain, back pain, shoulder pain, foot pain, or just sometimes you just don't feel good, go and see him. He's an actual doctor. He's a chiropractor, so he'll adjust you, and then he'll do his magical techniques.
Yes.
And I mean, it was pretty.
I highly recommend him. I mean, even with the weekly visits that I'm going to, I see an improvement in overall my mood. I don't wake up as tired. I go to bed. I sleep soundly. I have a deep sleep. I wake up energized. I don't have that back pain. Just the little things. My digestion has improved. Just little things.
Yeah, but they make all the
better.
Difference. Yeah, yeah. You know what's great is that you don't have to feel like, oh, I'm getting older, and then I have to live in pain.
True.
You know, we're all degrading because we're made of oxygen and water, right? So we're rusting, right? We're rusting to death. But at least it's nice to look into the future and say, oh, like I don't have to live in pain. I can start to mitigate the damage that I have done, you know, snowboarding or falling and, you know, doing a scorpion.
It's maintenance.
You get maintenance. And
taking care of yourself, loving yourself.
Loving yourself. So if you're listening, tune in. Check out Dr. Bloom's offer. Mention when you call Dr. Alan Bloom or go on to email him. Say the code word Leslie. Take advantage of that deal. I know anyone who's listening to that, I think within 90 days, you can get a free distance healing session and a free session. I think like a $25
first session.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat that.
No, you can't.
And not to mention, he's a hoot. He's hilarious, so check him out. I feel like it's going to a stand-up comedy routine while getting adjusted. So if you like Rodney Dangerfield, you'll like him. And then we finally got the app
about something we love.
Yes, our baby, the Happiness Dex app. Wow, that was a long time in the making and so many bumps along the way, but we got it out, and it's a great resource, and we're looking forward to updating that, getting it going forward with new features and making sure that it's bug-free. That's really important to us. So if you have tried the Happiness Dex app, write to us and at hello@leslieinc.org and let me know what you think about it. You can actually call our toll-free number that's in the app and leave a message.
Yeah, that'd be great. We'd love to hear your testimonials or you're doing affirmations once a week?
Yeah, once a week. And whenever I feel like doing it for fun, I'll do it on my stories. But once a week, you can see me on normally Mondays. And I will give you an affirmation of the week and show you a card and give some of my own advice and inspiration. So if you're looking for affirmations to improve your career, your business, your money, check out the Happiness Dex app Career Edition.
Yeah, let us know how it's working for you, what you think of it.
Yeah,
great.
Or if you have ideas, whatever, just reach out to us. We just want to hear from you. Your thoughts and feelings obviously are important to me, so reach out. So let's get to the topic of the day. Mood and money.
Mood and money.
Yeah. You know, the fact is, it's very scary. Let me tell you some financial statistics. Money.usnews.com. They had an article, 8 scary financial statistics, right? Let me tell you a few of them. I think it was really good. 2/3 of Americans would struggle to scrounge up $1,000 in an emergency. 2/3.
Wow, that's crazy.
Isn't that kind of scary?
Yeah.
$1,000. It's not a lot of money.
No, it's not. But if you, think of that. More than half of Americans can't come up with $1,000 in a pinch. That means, God forbid, your car breaks down.
Well, that happened to us the other day.
Yeah.
Remember? Well, last month we actually, my BMW, it's paid off, and it's my baby car. But Frank had been borrowing it because we had ordered the Tesla and it hadn't come. And so what happened? A sensor went out in my catalytic converter. I got a ticket. Just all sorts of stuff. And what was it? It was like $1,200 to fix. And I was thinking after that, which was no big deal, but I was thinking, wow, if I didn't have that, I would have no car.
Yeah, then you can't get to work, or you have to find an alternate way to get to work.
Can't take my kids to school.
Yeah.
Your whole entire life is disrupted because of $1,000, and 2/3 of Americans struggle to make that money.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? So that's stressful. Thinking, talk about mood and money, like I cannot survive an unexpected expense.
Or just living that feeling of living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a stressful way to live as well.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow, you don't know what tomorrow's going to have. Stuff's always going to happen. Life happens, things break, whatever. But to look at tomorrow with such anxiety, that's challenging. So let me go to another fact. Only 24% of millennials demonstrate financial literacy, according to a study from the National Endowment for Financial Education. 24%. When did you start learning about personal finance and financial literacy?
Well, my mom would always talk to me about saving, and we always had a bank account. We'd always go to the bank and put in our little saving money. And I actually remember a class in elementary school. It was like an advanced placement class in elementary where they taught us how to do budgets. And we had to had a make-believe family, and we had bills, and we had to make ends meet, we had to negotiate, things like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't really become actually proficient in learning about it until I think maybe only recently, really.
Wow, so in your early 30s.
Yeah. Late 20s, early 30s, right around before I went to grad school. That's when I was like, okay, let's get serious about this because I'm about to incur a lot of debt.
Oh my gosh. I remember because you asked me, you said, do you have any budgeting worksheets?
Yeah.
And I created one that was on the site for a long time. I don't know if it's still there. I'll have to post it back up. But I created a percentage-based budget worksheet. I'll have to check.
That helped me a lot in planning because I was moving to 2 different countries. So I had to plan and allocate and figure it all out. Yeah, serious.
I'm laughing. I just spit up my water, but that was so funny. And the thing was, I also gave it to Josh too.
Oh, nice.
Because he was in a mess and he needed help, so I gave it to that. And I actually coached a lot of my clients on the financial part because managing finances is stressful, especially when you're starting to plan out your career because you know what your lifestyle is going to be. So you got to plan out what kind of income you want to make and the job and all of that.
Yeah.
So that was intrinsically tied to my work as coaching on the financial and how we feel about that, which evolved more and more over the years. Let's talk about another one. Before that, I didn't start until I was 17. My grandmother became financially independent. She was a janitor her entire career for an elementary school. And my grandfather was a janitor too at a post office, and they did not have really much money, but they got their GEDs and they started to do investing and take some classes and those kinds of things. And my grandparents actually made pretty well for themselves. And my grandma told me, and she showed me only one time, one of her financial statements. And I was like, I need to start investing. Because I was like, how can this woman who was just a janitor her whole life with a GED have this much money?
Wow.
And I was like...
That's inspirational.
It was.
That means everyone can do that.
And the thing is that, they didn't do that until when? They're like late 30s, 40s or something. They had kids, they had 3 kids, and, it was crazy. So it really inspired me. She told me to read Suze Orman, and then I took a personal finance class in college, and I took business law, and I took real estate law and real estate sales. So I really got into the business and the finance, and I was always fascinated by that. Was a real estate agent, so I always like money. My only problem was that money for me and marriage, that was a tricky one, and I'll tell some stories later. But I got an early start, and I love reading about money. So, and that was a great way to give me some information and tools to help my clients.
Yeah.
So the next one is among adults who have combined finances in current or previous relationships, 2 out of 5 fess up to committing financial infidelity, according to the same research done by National Endowment for Financial Education. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can actually see that.
2 out of 5 financial infidelity.
cheating on the money, spending on things.
But you know what? That doesn't surprise me because I have clients who tell me specifically. I've had a lot of female clients tell me that they had separate bank accounts and to hide it from their partner.
Oh, that's not good.
My mom did that. She said that she would hide money in another bank account so my dad wouldn't spend it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I don't know what I feel about that. I feel like if you can't be honest in a relationship regarding money with your partner that you've chosen, I don't know.
But money is a tricky thing, right? Getting somebody to make better financial choices. Good luck, right? That's how a lot of
conversation.
That's how a lot of people feel.
Read your book and start that conversation.
I know, read my book. But this is the thing. I get this because I wouldn't call it financial infidelity, but I would be so financially conservative and responsible, and my husband would always be stressed about money because that was the environment he was raised in. His mother was always stressed about money and made everyone else feel bad about it. Like, that was her way. And, you know, and not like she tried to, but she was like, oh, well, I sacrificed so you could go on vacation, and those kinds of guilt-inducing comments, right? We've all heard those. But he was very stressed out, and it was always like that, to the point where some of our friends are like, could he get a grip on this? You know what I mean? And so I thought, well, maybe if I change my behavior, if I be super conservative and I budget everything and I control all the finances, he'll stop worrying about money. Guess what? Didn't change.
No.
Because what I did could not change his behavior, his attitudes.
Yes, and his beliefs
And
of what was going to happen.
Boom, there you go. So for me, he would stress, and I would be good, and I would self-sacrifice, and I would do all these things. He would tell me to make a certain amount of money to supplement. I would do that, deliver, and then he would still complain. I hated it. And what would I do to get revenge? I would go out and I would spend $300-$500, and I wouldn't care. I would get so mad. I'm not joking. I know that's embarrassing to say in a way, but I want happy campers to know that, guess what? Like, yeah, money creates, in our belief systems, dysfunction in our relationships, because there was another woman in our relationship. It was money, right? And he didn't have a good relationship with it. And then this threesome of me and the money and my husband, we weren't getting along. So I would go and abuse the money.
I like that. I like how you described that.
It is. It's a threesome.
Money was the third person in the relationship.
Oh, I'm telling you. And in this, and money took a primary thing. And it's not, you know, money is just, it's
a tool.
It's a tool, right? It's not a person, but it plays an important role in our relationships.
Yeah.
So let's go on with that. Just 46% of Americans have a rainy day fund. Less than half have enough money in an emergency.
Yeah, well, I mean, if 2/3 can't scrounge up $1,000, I'm not surprised.
And on top of that, the number of consumers age 60 and older with student loan debt has quadrupled over the last decade. Whoa. I think they said that there's over $100 billion in student loan debt.
Whoa, that's insane. And it's not just the kids that are taking this debt and this burden. It's now going on to the parents, 60 and older, with student loan debt. Yeah. Which could be several things. Could be that grandparents and parents are helping their children get through college and advance their careers and taking on that responsibility, which is preventing them as well for retirement. Yeah, because then what will happen is that it creates a dependent cycle. So then older parents will have to rely and live with their younger children who are saddled with all these responsibilities. So there's a lot going on in our society with money, and how do we empower people? It's pretty wild. And speaking of student loans, almost half of student loan holders express concern about their ability to pay off their debt. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like as soon as you graduate college, you're like, especially if you took out your loans yourself, your first question you ask is like, okay, how am I going to pay this off? Exactly. I mean, you have like that forgiveness time while you're in school, if you're lucky enough. Some are still accruing interest, you know. Definitely talk to a financial advisor or student loan advisor regarding that to get your best bet. But I mean, one of the biggest questions is like, how are you going to pay this off? And that was the first question my mom asked me before I went to grad school. Well, what are your plans? How are you going to pay this off? You're accumulating over $60,000. How much are you going to make when you get out? Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty wild, though, that people give out these student loans without helping them to get a job afterward or anything. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a crazy system. For me, when I studied, my parents didn't help me at all. So I was, 18 years old on my own with no financial help whatsoever from my parents. I think my dad bought me 2 bags of groceries. Mm-hmm. My mom gave me, I would say, like about less than $900 that she had saved for me, which was amazingly generous. And that was it. I was cut off. I had no money. Mm-hmm. Done. You know what I mean? I was eating like sale meat in the grocery store. Oh. Ramen noodles.
ramen noodles, sale meat from the grocery store, and a lot of rice, girl. I mean, talk about me being Asian. It was more than enough an Asian girl could eat. But, and vegetables, right? Like, that's all I ate. And I was so thin. I probably weighed like 99 pounds.
Yeah.
But that's all I had. And so I had scholarships, grants. I only took a few student loans, so I walked out of there with $12,000.
That's great.
So I did that all on my own. I worked. I had a job. I'd take crazy summer jobs. I did everything because I didn't want to leave debt. It's been 10 years later. I still haven't paid it all off because it's been a great financial instrument for me to keep my credit score high, especially when I was living in France for 5 years. And I could pay it over 10 times over now, but it's been 10 years and I still haven't paid it off. It doesn't change that fact, right? But it's really important that we talk about our feelings about money. And guess what? These aren't the only things about money. Student loans and jobs and emergencies. Divorce.
Yeah.
Divorce is expensive.
It is costly. Marriage is expensive.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Kids.
Oh, gosh.
Kids.
I mean,
Anybody who's listening who's a parent knows that kids are expensive. What? I pay in childcare a month. I could buy a 4-bedroom house in our hometown of Jacksonville. I could buy a 4-bedroom house with what I pay. Ooh, property taxes included. Isn't that crazy?
I'll take care of your kids now. I'm just kidding. I will not.
I'll buy you the house and you watch my kids full time. There you go. Woohoo!
No, that's okay.
But I'm telling you, the kids are expensive too. But that's our investment in the future, right? But we have to start feeling good about money. We have to start feeling like money is our friend.
Yes.
How do we do
Not
that?
our burden. Not something we have to overcome. Exactly.
Yeah, money's not something that you have to overcome, and money's not something you want to ignore. Yeah. It's not something that you want to pretend doesn't exist. It's something that you want to become friends with because, like I said, money is that person in your relationship that has a strange power over your partner. You know what I mean? And it's exasperating. It is exasperating. And on top of that, as women, as modern women, we have to realize that a man is not a plan.
Yeah.
We can't just marry for money. We can't put it. I mean, I've coached people of all ages, and I've had some older clients who are in relationships, and they're wondering, how am I going to get out of this unhappy relationship that I'm in when I'm so financially dependent on this person, and I don't have any professional background or skills?
Wow. It's a scary position to be in, to put yourself in.
And what are they telling me? Oh, well, let me just rely on my kids.
Oh, no.
And their kids are in messed up situations, too.
Mm-mm.
So this is a real challenge, is looking at how do we have a relationship to money? How do we create a balance in our relationships with others when money is involved?
Yeah.
Because even in a workplace, we think about things like sales and marketing and all of that, and they can become intimidating and overwhelming, and we think it all boils down to money.
Yeah.
And we have to change the dialogue, but it all starts with what you think and what you feel and what you ultimately believe, because our beliefs are combinations of our thoughts and our feelings.
Sure.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a feeling attached to a thought, and then it's practiced over and over and over again. Right?
Yeah.
I think it was Louise Hayes that said that a belief is a thought just repeated over and over again. And I think that that's true. So because of that, because of what I've been through, and personally seeing my parents struggle, they were part of the working poor, seeing my husband struggle, even though he came from a very affluent, wealthy family, going like, okay, I've seen two sides of the extremes. I saw myself, my parents, my mom, who was living in a third world country, a child prostitute to help survive and put food on her family's table, and then seeing somebody from a very wealthy background and still feeling just as bad about money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not about how much you have, it's what you think and feel about it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's beliefs. So how do we get past poverty mentality and get people into abundance? Well, over the last 10 years of coaching people and creating tools, and I'm not a master in finance or investment. I'm not Warren Buffett, but I do know a few things, right? And I've been able to help people, and more importantly, change how they feel about money. And I created a protocol, which I call the money formula, which changes your relationship with money in 7 steps. you can do on your own in 15 minutes or less. And it starts with the very word money. What do you think? What's the first thought when we've tried it before together, what was the first thought that you used to think when you think the word money?
The first word I used to think of, money was stress and working. And, really kind of having to work constantly for money, and having to make the sacrifices for what that meant.
So money equaled stress and sacrifice.
Yeah, for me. And that sacrifice was not having a personal life.
So no personal life.
Yeah.
And then how did you feel about that?
Well, it fucking sucked. We're gonna bleep that out. No, it was horrible because in my mind it was I either had to work all the time to make ends meet, and I had no time. I call you all the time, say I have no time. I had no time for my personal life to do the things I enjoyed with the money I was earning.
So you were time poor.
Yeah.
So not only were you money poor, but you were time poor.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of us struggle with money and time poor experiences. So that was one of the things, if you're listening, well, I know you're listening, but when you're listening to this, is that we all have an association. Take a minute and think about what is the first thought that I think when I think the word money. And you're going to see that very first thought creates this chain reaction of self-sabotaging or maybe self-affirming cycles of behaviors and attitudes that leads you to make choices. And when we identify that our choices aren't the best ones because we're either avoiding or procrastinating or ignoring or whatever it is that we might be doing, something's not right. If you're intimidated by math, money, mortgage, credit card, sales, whatever it might be, any kind of word in the financial dictionary, it's time to check out your money formula. What is the root of this, and how are you being affected by your subconscious patterns, which, believe it or not, most of them I have found happen between the ages of birth and 7 years old.
Yeah.
There's a secondary time between 10 and 12, I've noticed, but the primary root memories are between that age. So where our parents affected us, or our caretakers, if you didn't have parents, they will affect us as well.
Yeah. It's almost like when you're a child, you see what your parents are doing. You don't quite understand exactly, so you make these associations, ideas, these thoughts. You have them, and then you just kind of repeat them because that's what you've known.
Right.
That's what you've seen. That's what you've known. Partake in them. In my life, it was my mom. She worked all the time, and I mean, it's horrible to say, but I feel like it was my dad and my stepmom, Juvin, who raised me. When I think back, my mom was there for the fun times. She was always there for Christmas, taking us out. But the one that would scold us and make us do chores, and the work ethic was, my dad and Juvin. So for me, that relationship came where it's like my mom has to work to make the money for the house, and then she doesn't have time to do that other stuff with us.
Yeah.
And I lived that. I recreated that.
Yeah.
For myself.
And that's no way to live for tomorrow.
No,
right?
Definitely not. No, because I want to be a mother, and I want to have family, and I want to scold my future children.
Well, you're doing that really now by helping us and the kids.
I know.
So that's nice.
Lovely.
You get good practice right there.
But that's no way to live, and you put yourself in these situations, and then you're like, why can't I move on? Why can't I move past this? And sometimes it's just a moment of taking a step back and reflecting on, how am I feeling at this moment with regards to this situation? Where is this feeling coming from? Where have I felt this before? And what is that? Why am I feeling like that? And just that revelation alone just opens up all kinds of doors.
Yeah. Once you realize what those limiting beliefs are, you can consciously say to yourself, oh,
that's not true.
That's not true. I don't have to believe that. But we're so limited by those untrue things, falsehoods. Yeah. And falsehoods that make us feel bad. That's fear.
For sure.
That's all it is.
For sure.
Things that are not true that make us feel bad is fear. So if you're listening and you yourself have some things you want to reconcile in your financial life, your career, and you want to make it better, you want to live more abundantly, learn more about it at themoneyformula.leslieinc.org. You can sign up to be on our newsletter list. This is an exclusive list that we'll be sending out to people who've signed up. Find out more about the Money Formula. It'll be coming out in October.
Yes.
Thanks to WSA Publishing. Get your copy. And if you're interested in knowing more about it, we can reach out to us directly.
Yeah. You know, I'm really excited this book is finally getting published because, one, I've seen you coaching other people and how you've helped them on an individual level, and to actually have a product now that is accessible to everyone, that they can purchase, that they can actually read at their own pace and not necessarily need you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's great that you have this book out, you know, and it's going to be available, and I'm really excited to work with you to spread this message across, because I feel like, you know, I mean, our financial times right now, you know, it is stressful. I mean, you heard the statistics we were talking about, you know, 2/3 of Americans can't scrounge up $1,000. That's scary, you know, and why is that, you know? And there's a disconnect there between our relationship with money and what we're doing and what we believe about money. You know what I mean? As if we can't save it for some reason. So to be able to share your work that you've done, this protocol that you created, and have it out there and spread that message and spread that that tool, that resource, the Money Formula. I'm excited about that. It's really empowering people to have financial security, really.
Yeah, I don't want children to grow up with parents who feel disempowered and who feel like they can't do it. And then those children repeat those cycles. And for me, I'm all about the kids. And it's important that we change our beliefs for tomorrow and for our children so they can create a new world. And that's what it's really all about. I'm just so motivated about helping families.
Yeah.
You know, I've helped a lot of families. Just over the last 10 years, I was doing all the numbers of all the people that I've helped on the blog, podcast, one-on-one, in groups and sessions, 30,000 people.
Wow.
And to be able to bring that to those people and then spread it out even more.
Yeah.
I want to give you one specific tool. It's not all the tools, but it's one specific tool that actually works and can change how you feel. 15 minutes or less. You got 15 minutes, you got 7 steps, you can do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you are on board, and we are planning a book tour.
Yes, we are.
I'm so excited about that. And you have a business, you have a community group, you have a social club, you have a shop. And you just want to hear more about us and maybe want to collaborate. We are looking for community partners. We are in the local San Diego area, but we do have a following in New York and London.
New York and London, yeah.
But and LA too.
In LA.
So really, you know, we're open to it. We're open to collaborating, finding creative ways to share this message, to spread the word, to promote financial abundance, financial confidence. Rid yourself of that burden of what you call money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That poverty mentality, as we like to call it. Give me a call. Seriously, give me a call. 347-748-0513. I'd love to work with you and just helping spread this message about the Money Formula.
That's right. And also for next month, or this month, as we continue on talking about abundance in August, we're going to be having a few great guests with us. We have Denise Arend of 5 Rings Financial. She hosts Wine, Women, and Wealth in Encinitas, North County, San Diego. She's got some great insight and just ways to empower women, talking about finances and that there is a way to never lose money. And I'm excited to share that with all of the happy campers. Wade Taylor of WS Radio.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great guy, and he really talks about your brand, your story, how to attract the right and the best clients, and what are some of the ways that you could do that through using social media. And Mary Beth Dame, she is an amazing voice coach, and she's going to be talking about how your voice is actually costing you money and ways that you didn't even realize that. So she
gave me some tips.
She gave you some tips, and she empowers professionals, speakers, singers on how to give their best presentation and make sure your presence is fully known. So I'm really excited about that. So if you are interested in any of this that we're talking about, stay tuned for the rest of the month on the State of Happiness. And if you have any questions or comments about this episode, reach out to us. Again, go to themoneyformula.leslieinc.org to sign up for our newsletter, be a part of the Money Formula. And if you'd like to pre-order, you can sign up there as well. And we will obviously be giving you more news on how to actually get your copy. So anyway, it's been great. I'm just looking forward to resting and relaxing here in France.
Back to more champagne.
Back to more champagne or escargot. You know, go for a walk, maybe go sailing. But I'm excited to have some days. You ready to head out?
Yeah.
All right, girl. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in this week on the State of Happiness. We're gonna go back to our great vacation here in the south of France in beautiful Cavalier-sur-Mer, just outside of Saint-Tropez. Yes, it is that great. I can't wait to share pictures with you on social media. Join us on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn as well. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
A many thanks to you, happy campers, for joining us today on this episode of The State of Happiness. If you'd like to continue the conversation, you can join me at Twitter at Leslie Juvin, as well as follow at Leslie Inc. on Instagram, and talk with us at Facebook at Official Leslie Inc. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to leave us a rating and subscribe and share with a friend. As always, thanks for joining us, and remember, a smile goes a long way. What's the first thing you think when you hear the word money? Did you know that this first thought sets a subconscious pattern rooted in childhood that can either set you up for financial success or failure? There is a way to change your relationship to the word money and every other word in the financial dictionary. With the Money Formula, in 7 steps and 15 minutes or less, you have a protocol to help change your relationship with money forever. Coming soon to Amazon and a bookstore near you and the Leslie Inc. digital store. Find The Money Formula this fall. For more information about The Money Formula and when we're coming to a city near you for a book signing, sign up at themoneyformula.leslieinc.org. That's themoneyformula.leslieinc.org.